fair play. I thought Celtic come back into the game, and then obviously the penalty shout, which I thought it might have been a penalty. By the way, I know it'd be very soft, but listen, I thought it's not very often. It's not very often the referee gets called on to a VAR screen and then says, "No, I'm going to stick with my decision."
We'll see on that, Mick. I mean, I'll bring you in here, Keith, as well, because I said to Mick off air, I've actually got quite a lot of comments from fans who think it might well have been a penalty. And I know, Keith, we kind of agreed. I agreed with you that I didn't think it was. But see, some of these arguments kind of sway me a little bit. I mean, I'll read them out. David Gill, okay, he got the ball and play goes on, but then he fouls Engels and prevents him attempting to reach the ball. It's a Stonewall penalty. Colin says, remember when Fabio Silva won a penalty against Celtic in the 3-3 game? We were told it doesn't matter if you get a slight touch on the ball, if you follow through it a fair bit. And Alex Hughes says, not sure how it's not a penalty. If you get the ball fairly then commit a foul, it's still a free kick, or in this case, a penalty. That kind of makes... I mean, I get that Upamecano did just nick the ball, but then he lands
I think there has to be a degree of intent in there. And for me... Upamecano has won the ball, has it under his control, and it's not as if his foot is deliberately reaching out for Arne Engels. He's merely, his forward motion is carrying him towards the ball. Engels then comes in from the side. It's different if he's got a view of Engels and he's deliberately went out his way to make contact. That wasn't the case. I think we're clutching at straws. And as I said, Daniel, what was interesting, I thought VAR made a bit of a mess of it.
It took ages, didn't it?
Yeah, but the problem was for me, my instincts were from watching it on TV, he's offside, so it's nothing. VAR did a really good job identifying the fact that Engels wasn't coming back from an offside position. He was in fact onside, and I think that's when they've gone, hold on, ref, you need to take a look at this. And for some reason they haven't checked from the angle which shows from behind the pair of them, Upamecano getting the ball and moving away. And that was, once you saw that, so my first instinct, I said last night, when I realised he was onside, I think it was a Stonewall penalty kick. But I think that angle was fairly conclusive. And I thought the ref, and I congratulate him on it. There are times when, we kind of slaughtered Nick Walsh for trying to use the video evidence to support his decision rather than to look at what actually had occurred. I think the referee must have thought, oh, I've missed something here, went over, had a look at it, and that angle was fairly conclusive. Look, I agree with Mick and a lot he said there in terms of the way Celtic contained Bayern Munich. And it goes back again, Daniel, to what we discussed about how this team has matured over the last 8 months in European football, the strides that have been made. That performance off the ball, I'm not sure Celtic would have had in them at the start of this campaign. They've changed things, they've worked on things. They're more aware about closing space and being difficult to play through. All the things that they weren't when they went to Dortmund, when they were really naive and open and got a tanking for it. So, yes, I thought the containment aspect was really good in the first half because of the hard work that went into that. Because they were chasing the ball for a lot of... Not chasing the ball, but they had to play out of possession for long, long spells of that game. Mm-hmm. And I actually thought, Mick, I sort of disagreed. I thought when they did get on the ball, there was a decent element of composure. So I thought the containment was there, the composure was there. I've seen people criticising Callum McGregor today. I can't quite believe it because I thought he did a terrific job again at the base of midfield, breaking things up and then trying to get Celtic moving out. But they were up against such a ferocious press, deep inside their own territory. It was just really hard work for Celtic. And I thought, like Mick says, you're spot on, Mick. They've done really, really well against all the odds and against a really talented Bayern Munich side. The front four are frightening. So to get that far into the game, yes, even though there were long spells of that first half when, they were doing nothing more than just trying to survive. But you know something? That's a key part of European football at this level, especially when you're playing against teams of that level. You've got to learn how to survive. And Celtic have learned that lesson. Have they got the quality to compete and to go the extra mile in this competition? Not yet, no. But they're miles and miles in front of where they were when it began. And they deserve credit for that.
I think a lot of it as well, it speaks volumes. We were talking to some of the German guys in the media last night, and they were talking to a few of the players, the Bayern players. We got our usual custard pies from Manuel Neuer, as you will no surprise to hear. Keith, a man who dishes out custard pies to the Scottish press.
It's a tradition.
Takes great delight in custard pie. And I think I've been scooped out my eyes many times with Manuel Neuer, laughing at me when he does it sometimes. But hearing from second hand from a few of the guys, they were rattled at the end.
100%.
Properly rattled.
100%, Michael.
At 2-1, they were happy. They were taking 2-1 up the road. And I actually think they would have taken 2 each up the road as well. I think they're that confident in the home leg anyway. But there's no doubt they were rattled. And I think you can see a big change when Maida goes through the middle. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm mentioning Manuel Neuer. No wonder he gives a custard pie, because he was actually looking pretty rattled in the last 15 minutes.
Maida got right under his skin. He's like, where's this guy come from?
We were talking about probably the guy who revolutionised goalkeeping in the modern game. The super keeper. I mean, the guy who's so cool on the ball, and he was getting a bit jittery, and he was launching it towards the end. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him doing that before. So Celtic had them rattled. As I say, I think it was a nearly night. It was a nearly a right good night for Celtic. I don't think it was a bad night. I mean, I know they'll get beaten, and I think everyone expected them eventually to have too much Bayern, too much for Celtic. But I think there's a lot in there that Celtic can look at and think, yeah, this is a mark of progress this year. You're up against a right good side who know. Listen, you can play these teams in group stages, and you know they're almost phoning it in. They know they're going to qualify. They know, and people go, "Oh, Bayern, they lost to Feyenoord, they lost to Villa," you know. You go, yeah, but these teams don't. I mean, they barely ball their backside.
They do what they need to do when they need to do it. That's what they do.
And then the knockout stages, they turn it on.